We all dream, just as we all breathe. Throughout history, humankind has been intrigued by dreams and woken by nightmares. More than any man or woman before him, Carl Jung worked to understand where dreams came from and what meaning or purpose they had. Jung's task was immense, to define and understand the conscious and unconscious human personality.
These guys who are talking to me about, does positivity really work? I mean, Zherka for the last few months makes more than all of his friends and never has to do a job. I'm sure it's working for just Zherka and no one else. Bro, just use your mind correctly. Let's try it one time, because they don't teach you this in school. I am not a bitch. 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 What are you thinking of? You're thinking of me being a bitch. Now you try it. You say, I am not a bitch. I am not a bitch. What do you think about you being a bitch? So your brain only builds on positive. I am the man. See? You can only build through positive. You cannot actually negate negative. You can only build positive. You can only be pro-life. You can't negate anything, right? You can't negate the nature that we're dealt. So you can only go up the ladder or down the ladder. And usually going freezing, what people say, freezing is when people say I'm stuck, they're lying to me. They're not saying, John, I'm not going up the ladder and I'm not going down it. If you're stuck, it means you're going up and then down and then up and then down. That's what you're doing. You're doing two things healthy for yourself and two things bad. Two things healthy, two things bad. And you feel stuck in life. Have you ever tried going healthy all the way, you stupid bitch? Why don't you go all the way? It takes 28 days for you to be second nature at anything you do. So after a month, you're free. Have you ever tried to do something correct for at least 1 month of your life? No, you haven't. Because you go up and down, and that's what these fat asses do. They go up and down. Today I'm dieting, today I'm not. That's all they do, and they get stuck. See it through the end. Let the seed blossom, bro. What is the sun, moon, and the stars? All these sparks that are broken out like this. What are they? The sun is your conscious, the moon is your unconscious, and when they work together through the alchemical marriage, they birth a star, your new guiding star, your new idea. Because a fantasy is always driving man. So what is your fantasy you're playing out? Is it the fantasy that you're stuck? Is it the fantasy that you're winning? And if it's the fantasy that you're winning, why are you afraid to bathe in that fantasy for longer than 2 days? Why don't you bathe in it for 30 days and see something through to the end for once in your life, just to see if it works? But you're so afraid of that working, because that means you can never go back to your old life. And people love being losers. I love just watching Inception and eating some Fritos, and you love L's. Humans love L's. God can give you heaven and heaven mixed with hell, and you will always choose heaven mixed with hell because you're a fucking retard. That's why God said, here's the tree of life. We loved it and we went away from it. Here's the tree of 50-50. Oh yeah, I don't deserve the tree of life, so I go to 50-50, and you still have a second chance, but you're still eating from the wrong fruit of the 50-50. Are you fucking retarded? You got two fucking chances. One was infinite. And when you really think about it, you go, there's nothing that I've ever seen to the end that ever failed. You've never seen something through to the end that you failed at. Because even if you didn't get the outcome you want, you became who you want to be. That's what you're trying to do, is change your sense of self. When you change your sense of self, depression doesn't exist. Because depression is for your old self. This is your new self. And when you think of it, you go, wait, so that's what the Hermetic philosophers were talking about with the alchemical codes? And yes, that's exactly what they're talking about. That you can't paint a Da Vinci Mona Lisa until you change your sense of self. But can we all do that? Yes, the spirit dwells in all. It's not just a literal fact, the scripture. It's also allegorical. It's hidden. There's some esoteric behind it. Because you're supposed to figure it out yourself. You're supposed to play the role of Jesus. What are you talking about, John? It literally says you have to pick up your own cross. That's your life, your body you're attached to. What do you think it means by pick up your own cross? What do you think that means? It means you're going to battle your sense of self for the rest of your life. Why don't you get good at battling? The crazy part is, Sneeko and these people we watch, they don't read Jung. They don't understand how the mind works.
Patients came to him to try to understand the wisdom of dreams. He was a successful psychiatrist who never ceased to speak of the soul, mythology, and God. He was a scientist, a scholar, and a traveler, and always a dreamer. His dreams have changed our ideas. Before he died, he said, "My work will be continued by those who suffer." His name was Carl Gustav Jung.
They're walking in like me, all jolly, like, oh, my big fat stomach. Yeah, that's not how we're going out this 2024. My first day on the internet, I said ego is a good thing. And I'm so glad to say I was right. In Jungian terms, remove ego's bounds and make your ego boundless to complete the individuation process of integrating your shadow traits and everything wrong with you into who you end up in life, who you need to be. Life is about discovering your own myth. I'm saying this after you're saved with Christ, of course. What happened in my chat? Before I move forward, are there any questions? Like, this would be a good time these next few weeks. You guys spam me and say, can you go deeper in anima or whatever? Because I don't want to give a balance thing. I want to give a red pill antidote to, what did Jordan Peterson call it? The antidote to chaos. Antidote to chaotic thinking that dominated me for like 27 years of my life.